Hello YouTube and welcome to episodes 12 and 13 in the Serial Experiments Lain reaction series. Again, probably going to be similar housekeeping all week for all my shows, so if you watch multiple videos, this is kind of redundant, but anyway, I'll continue. Thank you for waiting for the holiday. It was very nice. I enjoyed my holiday a lot. 2. New poll. There'll be a new poll to replace Lain very, very soon on the Discord, and there'll be a video announcing it and all that kind of stuff. Still deciding the shows as of right now, so should be interesting there. And I'm changing my recording schedule slightly, if not today. I have a day off today, so I'm doing it in the morning, hence the sun. And it'll be an afternoon recording session for most stuff from now on, I believe. Just because I changed my hours at work, so I have to record sometime, don't I? There is the possibility of a mass recording day. Probably today it would be, generally, but yeah, we're not doing that today. I've still got to edit this one this afternoon. Anyway, this total inside baseball stuff. I guess I'm doing it because this intro is going to be slightly shorter. No comments this week. Ooh, a sad face. No. So yeah, nothing to kind of interact with and bounce off ideas with this week. So we're just kind of by myself with my own interpretations. I guess I'll take that as a thing that I didn't get too much stuff wrong as well. Again, we'll see. So I'm jumping straight back into recap / reveals / ideas / predictions, which is a lot of the same stuff I've been saying. So Lain is progressing beyond. She's kind of living up to her potential and power in a way. We now have pretty concrete confirmation that she doesn't belong in the world where she thought she belonged, and she's some kind of experiment, hence the name. And her power and how that power links in with the Wired and God and who is God, and Lain displaying godlike tendencies, and who is Masami, and all these similar questions, right? Masami in God's body, who created Lain? There's something there too, to Trinity, Christianity, religion, something there. And yeah, I guess we ended episode 11 on the changing of the truth, which is a big theme in the show. The truth being something that's universally accepted as just reality, even though it's all down to perception anyway. But if everybody perceives the same thing, then it becomes truth. You know what I mean? And this came through with the Alice situation. Alice is the only one that sees through this, and that's kind of disconcerting. But Lain wanted things to go back to the way they were before, so she literally made it that way, and that is kind of terrifying for Alice, right? Who has a different interpretation of the truth and what actually happened. I wonder how much Alice is going to be involved further from now. I feel kind of like her character arc is at a pretty satisfying end, to the point where I was trying to friend Lain, you know, we'll including her, we'll being friendly. Lain did some bad shit, or not Lain, or again, it's all very confusing. And then other Lain fixed it. So yeah, she's been fucked with, right? I guess we still have the Mika stuff to look at, which will follow, and maybe some stuff with the dad. But even though that scene, I think it was episode 10, seemed a little bit like a final goodbye. I don't know. I wonder if we'll go full TV ending of Evangelion and just have like the characters saying the themes and then just imagery. Maybe just full cerebral. Maybe, I don't know. Again, I have nothing to go off of. Rather than Seventh Protocol. That'll be our next biggest plot point, I believe. Again, linking into this collective truth idea. But either way, I'll stop talking now. I'll just do my shill stuff quickly. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation, comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you would like me to follow you back. And join the Discord, love the Discord, lots of fun stuff on the Discord. Vote in the new poll on the Discord when it comes out. And yeah, on with the episode proper, episode 12 of Lain. Rightio, got episode 12 up here ready to go. Let me pop that up on screen there. 23 minutes and 52 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly. As always, there will be a picture-in-picture version in the description below. And yeah, just going to give it a 3, 2, 1. Rightio? 3, 2, 1, go. Oh yeah, present day, present time for those that were unaware. I just thought I heard something in my house, but I hope there was nothing there. And it's a little bit loud. But maybe that's just me and my headphones, but it matters not. Lain is on. Focus on Lain. Even though, yeah, this intro is like a nice... You know what I mean? Potentially the last time I'll see this, because maybe we'll do the old classic last episode no opening. So yeah, I've recently got into TikTok. I know, fucking pretty late, right? But like this kind of stuff is huge on there. Just like you'll get like a picture of Lain and either play some, you know, 90s inspired indie like this is, kind of that alt rock style, or it'll be like full on like breakcore. I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of aesthetic. I like that. Um, I'm like, oh, I know who that is on the front cover of all that stuff. I think that's funny. But I also feel like it's kind of a race to the bottom to see who can be the most cultured. I don't know. Funny app for sure. Oh, that's Lane talking. Yeah, okay. This is a big change. Well, not when you have that much power, right? It's the figuring it out is the hard part. Who was that talking? Oh, and this is different too. Landscape. Landscape. Okay, are we back with Alice and Co? More power lines, by the way. Yes, we are. Okay, cool. Mm, exactly. True. Oh, that's terrifying. I hate how lo-fi it was too. Oh God, why? That was almost like Exorcist vibes. It's a really sick sounding phone too. Hmm. See, I know what you're getting at, Lane, but that's not good. You don't do that. You take the good with the bad. Hey, yeah, it's terrifying. I hate this. It's all so easy, huh? Yeah, okay. So again, interpretation, perspective, truth. I'm just hanging out, being normal. Taro just seems like a bit of an asshole. Just talk with your friends. Wow. Oh, she hates it. Taro, you're being weird. Yeah, okay. People walking. A hustle and bustle of everyday life. And it all cuts away. Everyone thinking about Lane. All over the world. These semi real shots as well. With the filter over the top. Hey. Hello, Lane. This reminds me of the start of the openings as well, which is kind of cool. Okay, thanks, Protocol 7. Oh, okay. Lane looks like kind of fucked up there. What do you mean by this? Materialistic terms? Okay. Yeah. I think I'm a person, but you're starting to convince me otherwise. Yeah, what has God done in this situation that Lain hasn't herself? Hey, it's all very easy now. You're very much not stressed. Once you've dropped all that used to worry you, all your past, your history. You know what I mean? On that same road too. That was great. I loved that. Where are we, by the way? Oh yeah, these two guys. Carl, my boy. Yeah, not about smoking in the car with no like window open. Okay, yep. The knights. Well, God is whoever he is, right? It's up to interpretation, yes. Oh yeah, right. Because maybe he's already in the wired, right? Who's coming for you? Okay. What's up? Uh, okay, that's trippy as. Who's in the car? Like the perspective shift there was nuts. What's in the box? Okay, seventh protocol, Andy. Underground, become mole people. Something wonderful. I don't trust this man. Just wondering, like, who are the factions? Who's working with who? You know what I mean? That's terrifying. Horrors beyond your comprehension. Hey, there it is. Okay. Cool. Now you see it too? Who was that? Let's zoom in. Whoa. Into yourself. I love the setting too. Here's great. Like abandoned car park. Yep, the power line's still buzzing away. By the way, I'm just learning that this is maybe the worst possible time to take a week break. Because I think if a lot of the same concepts were still in my head, I would have gotten a lot more out of this. But anyway, we're persisting. Yeah, Alice gonna go see Lain or Lane's house. Where is Lane like hanging out besides like everywhere? The gate is open. The door's open. What's going on inside the house? Cool house. Cool house. Yep. Like how you've cleaned up the place. Looks good. I don't want him to see Miko. Mika's gonna be scary looking. I don't like it. It's a techno disaster. What is the house if not a symbol of the family unit? A symbol of your everyday. Yeah. Decay. It's like a yeah, that terrifying. Hate it. It's like a rainforest. It's like my house after I don't clean. I would leave. Yo, ghosts. Another great directed scene, by the way. The tension's palpable, for lack of a better term. Yeah, always has been. Oh, the window's like warped too. Where the stuffed animals? Hey, I'm stuck in wires. There's the stuffed animals. Great. Good touch. Oh, great. What a shot. Oh, God. What did you mean by this? Watching? What do you mean? Like another version of yourself? Yeah, that is fucked up. Even just knowing being that separate from the rest of society, right? That's not about hate. I don't think it's about hate at all. Yeah, sometimes the lie is easier than the truth. Hmm. I guess that's worth a lot. You liked me before the glow up. Look at these wires attached around me. What do you think you mean? Ah, the first person shot there. You reckon? Okay, when? Yeah, me. Well, yeah, well, yeah. You're becoming Knight's pilled. Okay, what is the decision? Human touch? Is that what we're getting at? Yeah. Is that me? That's basically my thesis. No, you'd be quite warm, I would imagine, right? Thanks, Alice. Touch the heart. Whoa, the shot. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. There you go. Nice moment. I'm kind of scared. Yeah. But you also feel alive. No. No, she's. Shut up. You're ruining the moment. I disagree, Mr. God. Excuse me? Excuse me? Hello. The invisible hand. Now you're actually scared, huh? Yeah, no, it's kind of fucked up, huh? Yeah. Go on. Weird. Are you actually God? No, I think oh god. What's the corporation's name? You know the one. I don't think it matters. I'm the one with the power. Okay. I think she's being based. Whoa. Poor Alice, by the way. I agree. How is it animated so well as well? It's actually kind of insane. Hey, look at that mechanical human transhumanist Cronenberg disaster. It bodes well. It bodes well. Yeah, okay. I've got some theories. So like, oh my god, what's the name of the corporation? The Seventh Protocol blokes. Um, they were with Eri Masami and then made this god, and then they're trying to propagate their own thing and then take over the world, and essentially, right? And then Lain is now standing in the way of that. Something to that effect. Again, I need to reread that scene between the two guys in the car about Eri Masami. So I think the grand revelation here is that God isn't God that has existed time eternal, but only existed since the Wired, and then the Wired, and then there's been this whole like conspiracy to get to this point. That's what I'm reading into it anyway. But now Lain is going somewhat rogue and not following orders, and Alice is our like human touchstone to like balance out Lain from going to this darker side. I like that as a concept a lot. Again, the whole I'll always call it the Evangelion thing, like human touch, human pain, human suffering, human experience is good. I like being alive, you know, and it's important. That kind of vibe, I think. So yeah, jumping into a little bit of analysis on that episode right now. So that was episode 12, the, what do you call, penultimate? Is that what you call it? The one before the end? Anyway, I digress. It was very good. It was good from an entirely different way. Not entirely different. But I wanted to focus on something that isn't story related first. I thought the production of the episode was stellar. Across the board, great musical choices, ends in a jaw dropping sequence, honestly. Um, I was kind of speechless. The level of craft animation ideas that went into that last little segment with the all the stuff going together like that was frankly incredible. It was also buoyed throughout the episode with these great montage sequences, just great choices across the board, provocative, thought provoking, if we wanted to get a little more specific there. And I'll go into them in detail here in a second, but that is outside of the story stuff, which was the probably the biggest part of the episode. Uh, Everything's gone to shit, which was kind of the prediction, right? Alice remains the human center to it all, the kind of touchstone for Lain back to reality, whatever reality is. She makes her not wired pilled as much, and I think that's good. Alice is just a good girl. Uh, when I mentioned Mika before, Mika's entirely fucked up now, which is great. She's like a ghost fog person, so that's good. Um, but yeah, it's literally personified by two choices. It's angel and devil on shoulder. You know what I mean? So like God is like no, but this, and then Alice is like nah, but touch my hand though and my heart. See how it's epic? Yeah, oversimplification, of course, but I really enjoyed it. Again, I thought it was thought provoking. I'll keep saying that, and I'll dive into a few more ideas here, just from a I. The plot stuff in Lain is always so nebulous anyway, but I want to get some confirmation on. So who is Masami? What is Masami doing? Uh, Masami is he's a product. He's a piece of the puzzle of somebody else pulling the strings above him to make the world a certain way. Again, people are like applications or pieces of hardware, and then the brain is like the software in the head. You know what I mean? Like Lain is simply perceived as a tool to like to make a certain end happen. You know what I mean? She's a piece of the puzzle, and this piece of the puzzle has now gone rogue. That's what I read this ending of the episode as. Which, yeah, again implies Masami, there's somebody above him pulling the strings. Is it the guy? Oh my god, it's like Tanaka or something. Let me see if I can find it quickly. Yeah, it's Tachibana. Okay, the guy from Tachibana. I think he's top of the pyramid. I think that's who we're after. Either way, I'll jump into the episode here and make some observations and stuff, and yeah, we'll dive into the last episode after that. Very excited. I'll also say there's some stuff where Lain directly looks at the camera, which I think is quite effective as well, again, involving the audience into the show. I'll go into them in more detail in a second, but this in the opening now makes a lot more sense, right? Like, frankly, a pretty incredible opening, if I'm honest. Like, it's probably joined the top echelon now after I've finished the show. It's a very good opening. So we get these same shots before, but who is narrating? It is Lain. That is the biggest difference here. And what does she have to say? She's talking to the simplicity of the world now that she has exhibited and displayed this power to change the truth. She takes the lens of somebody that has had it all figured out, which isn't true. Nobody ever has it all figured out. You know what I mean? And I think the scene at the end of the episode is in direct contrast to this. If she had it all figured out, she would simply just go with God / Masami, right? But no, she didn't have it all figured out. Her mind was changed. Human touch. Effective. I really liked it. I don't know who this voice is that says, "See, I told you so," or "See, I told you it would be." Like, it sounded like an older woman. I'm not quite sure there. Either way, episode is called Landscape. Don't really get that one. Like, the landscape of the world. This is now what the world is like. This is now the landscape of what we have going on. I get that's pretty tenuous. I don't really know. So in a lot of ways, we're continuing right where we left off at the end of the last episode. We have Alice in school, probably following that morning, just questioning some things. Of course, we got the power lines in the foreground there as well. Again, overbearing. This is what is allowing this power in a lot of ways. So the scene here is kind of genius and frankly terrifying. Alice is sitting where we are Alice from perspective right now. You're seeing a conversation kind of lo-fi and in the background in a way that's meant to like just be like, oh yeah, whatever, it's a shot. It's showing what Lane's doing and that Alice is focusing on Lane. She closes her eyes for a moment and we keep this lo-fi style, but Lane is looking directly at Alice. Terrifying. But so, I love how, again, I'm going to keep emphasizing it, like how sketchy it all is in the back. Like it just catches your eye randomly. And then, yeah, you get the high fidelity one here, which is, yeah, again, it's such a, like, it's looking at somebody like they're going to nod back at you and say, yeah, this is cool, right? It wants another person reciprocating said feeling, right? It's like, right? It's like that. And yeah, Alice isn't going to give her that at all. Then Alice gets this message on her phone, presumably from Lain. You should just rewrite bad memories. That's, okay, again, you take the good with the bad, the human experience, the touch that is both cold and warm, You can't just rewrite bad experiences and be happy forever in this universal, like, heaven, essentially, right? That they're trying to create, with one person at the top establishing this new truth. Everything that is pain for humans comes from the body, right? That's kind of part of the philosophy there. So we should give up said body, and then, I don't know, where would the pain come from? You know what I mean? And even then, so say we still got our brains, of course you can still go into mental anguish. Just rewrite it. Because you can. Why not just be happy all the time? Just pipe in the happy, happy, happy. Because life, it's about balance. It's always about balance. The good with the bad. I really like Alice. I really like Alice as a character here. I think it's fucking pretty cool. I really do. So then we can recontextualize this look as well. If it's about rewriting bad memories. Look how happy everybody else is around me. Look how happy I am because I rewrote all this stuff. You can achieve this too. Lain turned to the camera there and basically said, hey, there wasn't a bunch of different me's that existed. Like, there was always one me. It was just other people's perception of me. And again, kind of trying to live up to that in as many ways as possible to please as many people as possible is stressful and blah, 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 blah. I could see why Lain made the decisions that she did. This scene's kind of out of place and weird. Taro, he's on his like VR headset, just acting like a weirdo, and then says, "I kissed an angel," which is implied to be Lain, from the couple episodes ago now. So yeah, I think Taro is implied to be Lain pilled, like everybody else. What is this shot here of everybody walking kind of in unison, kind of, and then the steps coming across this way? If not a show that everybody is now believing the same thing, everyone is going about their daily lives influenced by whatever the dialogue is. Like cut out of the hustle bustle and then just everyone's thinking about Lain, Lain, Lain. Even in the real world. These are real world shots, correct me if I'm wrong, just with a number of filters put over them. Lain is on the mind for everybody. This is our most explicit mention of Protocol 7 and Lain together. Let's listen to this guy. Protocol 7 is expected to allow the seamless sharing of information between the wired and the real world. So look at his face here. It's kind of fucked up, huh? And now the following message. Because of this, let's all love Lain. And look how, yeah, he's really fucked up. This is clearly bad, right? That's what I'm trying to get across. This whole let's love Lain, let's control Lain, Protocol 7 mumbo jumbo. The music here is kind of mad as God slash Masami is talking about the body. The body is nothing but a machine. We can get rid of this. We can elevate beyond this point, right? It is talking very negatively of the physical form. In order to take the next step in human evolution, we need to progress outside of the body, right? And again, buy into Protocol 7 as a result, I think. That's the implication. And yeah, the imagery in the background, we see lots of weird stuff highlighted, some stuff moving, like our perception of reality being altered, and like look at this drab look at what I'm guessing is a cityscape, right? It's meant to make it look unappealing. So Lain, you have the power to make this happen. You have the power to progress beyond this point, to connect people once again. And we see this very famous street that Lain's walked out basically every episode. She's out of the shadow. She is, quite frankly, free, especially in the clothing, the costuming here. Like happy look, kind of hair drifting in the breeze. Peace, I would call this. There's also something very angelic about it as well. I don't know, maybe the pose and the clothing together. Cool. Now we get to this scene here. We have our two guys, our two like kind of CIA kind of, what's the word? Men in Black guys, right? That were under the control of Tachibana, having a smoke, just thinking about what they've done, really. Now we will notice here. Hang on. Smoking. Smoking is a sign of self-destruction. Like, I know this is bad for me, but I can't stop. Some kind of addiction. Some kind of lack of care for themselves, right? And it kind of mirrors what they did in the story too, right? They were following a means to an end and got their just desserts, kind of. So we got to remember what they were doing, which was taking out the knights, essentially, right? These computer geeks playing trouble, playing secret society, they were the bad. We have to kill the bad. As it turns out, they were maybe the one thing holding the Tachibana Corporation back from what they were doing. So their client, which was Tachibana, was in contact with Eri Masami. Eri Masami is dead, or is he? Has he just uploaded his consciousness to the Wired? Is that potentially who this god character is? Was he Eri the whole time? I don't know, maybe. Or the actual Eri is going to come out at some point and say some stuff. But again, we're running out of time for that. Whenever characters say stuff like this, it's normally true as well. So just reading the room there, that probably is true. Or even some amount of secret knowledge with the smoking that we are going to die at the end of this. We know too much. So I might as well spend the last moments of my life. The rest of my life doesn't matter. I don't care about the long-term consequences. I'm going to enjoy a smoke. The tension here is quite good. I noticed this perspective change during the reaction. I thought it was quite trippy. Just like who's in the car. And it's this guy from episode way back in the day. He was having a chat with Lain in like the computer place. Just like, doing the thing. Being kind of sus, doing his thing there. I think this is the same guy, the Tachibana guy. He's paying these guys for services rendered, but they were kind of used at the same moment in time, right? If these guys need to get away now, they need to get to somewhere that isn't covered by a satellite and has no power, which is basically none of the world at this point. If they don't want to be involved in whatever nefarious means this guy is doing anyway. What are you planning to do by connecting the real world and the Wired? Something wonderful is going to happen. That's all we get. But you would have to imagine that the scene at the end has put a spanner in the works for this guy's plans, right? And then something frankly terrifying happens. This guy, it's implied that he starts seeing some stuff and then just dies on the spot as a result. We see Lain reflected in one of his eyes, so potentially the using of Lain for this as well. Again, creation of a truth, manipulation of the world, whatever they want to happen will happen. If you have a partner and you know that you've been doing something bad for a client, and then that partner just randomly dies, you may have an inkling that you may be going next, and I think that that tension is displayed well here. So he tries to zero in on a shadowy figure in the distance, and then only sees his own face as a result, and then all we hear is him shout in the darkness as we fade to black. I think that was pretty effective too. Lain in all of us, right? Cool, now we're approaching basically the last scene, which is kind of crazy. Basically half the episode left, and it's essentially just following Alice and her conversation with Lain. A lot of this part of the episode is tension, is pacing, is reveals, is that kind of thing. So I'll gloss over a lot of that here, but just know that it's very, very good. The pacing of it all, the gate being open, the door being open, the state of the house, the encounter with Mika, all sorts of stuff was very well executed here. Like Alice here is the only one basically left in the show that is cursed with the knowledge, you know? The knowledge of how things used to be, of what the truth used to be, of how the world has been manipulated. You're the only one left, right? You're the only one that can help convince Lain. And one of the only reasons it was kept this way is because you were her true friend before everything, before the Wired, you know? You were the one that stood by her. Think back to the level of concern she had for Lain after the Siberia incident. Just a fairly innocuous scene back in the moment, but now it's got a whole lot more context and a whole lot more importance. Like, she completed all of the character stuff with her in the RPG, right? She got the good ending because she did all the character links, the social links, right? With Lain. So this is the state of the house. I talked about it in the moment, but house is a reflection of sense of self, of normalcy, of it's broken. That's what I'm getting at, right? Broken. There's red and blue paint everywhere, which I like. It's kind of reflecting the end of the episode. You know, when it says "to be continued" and it's got the blue and the red there. I like that. I like how she still takes off her shoes to enter the house. That's a nice touch. But kind of what the scene is displaying is that despite being scared, despite this being a terrible situation for her to be walking into and trying to find Lain, she persists. Human experience is being scared, is the negative happening, but there's a positive, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Like in the same way that Alice is persisting through the house, we should persist with effort in other things in real life. And again, that's a very broad look at it, and fairly, it's not trying to be this scene, but this is what I read into it as. I think a lot of the show is about interpretation too. I wonder if we're going to do anything else with Mika. Like, this is terrifying, right? Obviously, you don't really see that one side of her face. Still doing the beep 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 bit. She's pretty far gone, right? I wonder if this is the end for her. She was, again, all she really did was be kind of like not even dismissive. She was just kind of like, oh, okay, whenever Lain was doing anything. Like, she wasn't really involved. And this is what happened. It's kind of tragic. It's really tragic. Like, two characters that did nothing wrong meeting in a hallway, right? So we walk up into the room, and one of the first things I noticed is that she looks out the window. The window pane is kind of warped and tilted as well, but there's no stuffed animals. So Lain is covered in wires and technology and a bunch of bullshit, right? And even in that moment, she's still grasping one little vestige of who she used to be way back in the day, right? The onesie Lain, Like, does this look like the face of somebody that is happy about their actions, somebody that is enacting something that is going to end in good? No, it's full on. It's somewhat nostalgic, like sadly nostalgic of how simple it used to be. Great shot. This is fucking art right here. You know what I mean? Lain merely says she's been watching here. This is where we talk in a bunch of circles, basically. Like, what did she mean by watching? You did a lot of it, right? But which Lain did it, and which perspective Lain, and blah, yeah. you know. Alice here asks the all-important question of, why did you leave me, my memories alone? It must be so scary, knowing something is wrong, but everybody else just believing it. Why do you leave me with all these horrible things that have happened to me, right? Why do you leave me with all these bad feelings? I can't take this. Why do you hate me that much? But no, it wasn't because I hated you, it was because I loved you, right? These bad things may have happened, but you're okay now, aren't you? That's where Lain kind of explains her perspective on it. I left you because you were my first friend, basically, before all this shit happened. So Lain doesn't need to connect to Alice because she's always been a friend anyway. Connecting is like making friends, right? She never was able to make friends with everybody else, so she connected them all. That's all well and good. I didn't need to connect you. I always knew that you were my friend. We do some crazy POV stuff with Alice here, right? Where Lain gets super close, then a little bit, then oscillating between the two. It's kind of creepy and intimate at the same time. I really like it. So Lain's throwing it all out, right? Doesn't really matter, any of it. I'm just a program designed to destroy the barrier between the wired and the real world. Everybody here, they're just applications. We don't need bodies. We should get rid of them and elevate to this higher plane. But after hearing this, Alice responds with putting a hand on Lain's cheek and simply telling her that she's wrong. So even now, your body may be cold, but you're still alive, Lain. Remember that, right? My body's alive too. We're the same, right? That's our connection. You're still alive, being alive together. That's what connects us. I like that. The heartbeat too is a technique too. See, isn't this warm blood pumping through me? Isn't that, isn't there something to that? So the heart's beating, beating, beating. They say doki doki, and then they start to say it together in unison. They're connecting, right? In a way that will be impossible if we persist with what we're doing now. But why is it pounding so hard? I'm scared. I guess I'm scared, but I'm happy. You know? There's some complexity to that. We're literally taking the bad feelings and the good feelings together, and it's kind of exciting. And then God/Masami pitches in and kind of ruins the moment. Because she's afraid of losing her body. That's why she's scared. Don't fall for this, basically. Continue to listen to me, who doesn't have any other ulterior motive. Yeah, don't take the scared and happy feeling, only take the happy one, right? Nah, but it's better because of the contrast, right? So Lain starts to turn to the dark side here a little bit by talking to somebody that basically doesn't exist for Alice. I think Masami/God picks up the problem here of like, oh shit, she may change her mind here. This is really bad. We need to convince her now to be connected and then be assimilated into whatever we have going on. Alice sees this ghostly hand try to touch Lain and remove the bug that may be in her system, preventing her from doing as she's told. But Lain starts to rebel here. She's got some thoughts on this situation that she's been keeping aside. Essentially, who gave you the right to do this, basically? Who are you? Because you can't be the real God, right? You can't be. The wire didn't exist before a certain point in time. It hasn't always existed, right? Who gave you those rights? You're merely just pretending. You're using different elements of human evolution and persisting within them, but you weren't there from the jump. So again, who gave you those rights? She's basically gatekeeping him here as well. With nobody, you can't understand what I'm talking about anyway, right? You will never understand. And she walks away from the disembodied hand over towards Alice, symbolically, right? Joining her side. And we see Masami/God start to rip himself apart as a result. Like, what is happening here? There's a lot of talk about who gave who a body here, who gave who physical form. I read this as kind of like he's giving himself a physical form now as well. Kind of pulling different, flesh parts and machine from around the room and making a form, essentially. And it's terrifying looking, which we'll get into. But the way it's animated is mind blowing. It's mesmerizing. I really enjoy it as a kind of climactic scene to the episode. I think it works really well and really makes me want to watch the next one. Essentially, you're just an acting god standing in for someone who was waiting for the wired to reach its current state. I'm implying this is Tachibana, right? You're just another one of Tachibana's tools. We see this flesh amalgam reach out for the two girls as well. Definitely some inspiration from other body horror in this as well, for sure. Alice, terrified at the situation, Lain just watches on, kind of in stunned silence. And yeah, this is our last look for the episode, right? We see a little face here, which I'll highlight, which I like. And kind of this rhythmic, almost heartbeat in the instrumentation as well that I enjoy. Just again giving the feeling that it's alive. You'll notice the rest of the room now. This is all the technology that was in the room now in one corner in one analogous blob, right? The rest of the room is much like the room that we saw at the very start of the show, with nothing in it but a bed and a desk. And yeah, that was the episode. If you couldn't tell, I thought it was quite incredible, actually. I thought it was a great episode. And now, yeah, we're jumping into the 13th and final episode. I don't know if I'll do any of the supplementary stuff that I have in my file set. Let me just bring it up here. What do I have here? Whatever LAF dot 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are these just like little previews and stuff? NCED and COP, is that just the ED and the OP separate? That would make sense. And then some stuff from the game apparently as well. Yeah, it was just a 14-second video that said make me mad, make me sad, make me feel alright. So I don't know what that's about. But either way, onward and upward with episode 13. I don't think I need to touch any of the rest of this stuff. Rightio, got the last episode of Serial Experiments Lain up here ready to go. Let me pop that up on screen there. 23 minutes and 39 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly. And if you wanted the picture-in-picture, it should already be open. And yeah, just going to jump in and give it a 3, 2, 1. Radio? 3, 2, 1, go. Hello. Hello, Lain. This is different. This isn't the opening. Yeah? What you thinking? Well, I've been perpetually confused, but sure. I don't know. Who are you talking to? I don't know anymore. Yeah. That could also be true. Cogito ergo sum. Oh, opening. So I guess it's no longer present day, present time, huh? I'm actually kind of happy I get to listen to this again. I love the mahach there as well. Good singing. Emphasis, I guess I should say. I wonder if we're going happy or sad with the ending. Hopefully whatever happy is. I'd like that. I really like Lane's journey through this. There's some real low points there, but I really hope she comes out on top here. That or we're going to get really depressing. One of the two. Maybe bittersweet in tone. That's what I would hope anyway. And definitely recording. It's always good when you're recording. Echo? Or ego. Okay, yeah. Very Freudian. Okay. Hey. What's up? Yeah, I remember. I mean, this is incredible. Why not reuse it? Imagine watching this, like, after watching the first episode. That'd be so funny. Like, just accidentally click the wrong episode. Yeah, I thought physical form didn't mean anything to you. Then what is this? I'd be terrified too. You're gonna be okay. Let's give her a pat on the head. She'll be right. Kind of the red in the eyes there is great too. Let me cover my eyes, damn it. Ooh. Kind of the heart beating thing from before, huh? Hug. Oh, Alice. What are we gonna do with you? But what happened? All reset? What kind of reset? I don't think resetting's good either. Are we going back to the first episode? No thank you, computer. I don't want you. Now, where have we gone? Yeah, I don't think resetting's a good answer too. That kind of flies in the face of what we had going on. You don't get a reset in real life. Whoa. The camera there was kind of crazy. Oh, don't look into that glass too long. You'll fucking trip out. They don't make as much food for her. He bought cod? Oh my god. It's gone crazy. Where's Lain dough? No food set for Lain. Or a Lain. Lain never exist. Is that what the reset meant? Just pondering it for a second. Maybe somebody was meant to be there. Yeah, okay. Weird. Oh yeah, that's why the door opened and nobody walked out. The world would be better without me. Alright, that's really fucking tragic. I hate that. She like deleted herself. Kind of linking into the suicide thing from the very start of the show. Yeah, all these familiar shots, no Lain. Oh, this is kind of a jam though. Oh my god. Yeah, these scenes never used to have this music associated with them. Music changes so much. Hello, Alice. Do you know or do you not know? Some lyrics would be nice, but sure. Hmm. Gotta go to Siberia. Okay, so Alice definitely still knows, right? Oh yeah, I can't. Why did Lain delete herself, man? And the music. Everything's better without me. Oh, Thingo. Hello. Because Chisa met with Lain on the way home that one day. Okay, you two. This is tragic, man. You just remembered something, did you? Yeah, shut up. You guys are ruining it. Oh, God. Why is this so fucked? Everything would have been better if not for me. Hello, kids technology. Sup? Oh, or not. Yeah. You got connected, little bro. Sup? This is the guy from episode 2, right? Look how sunny it is. He had like a sister, man. I wonder what the kicker is here, though. Are we just going to visit everybody and see how much better it is? That Masami? What the fuck? What's up? Angel? Was that like a mermaid? Yeah, putting up some power lines. Oh, those. Oh, is that fucking colonies, bro? I think it is. Show me the other one right now. You cowards. Yeah. This episode's really funny. Oh, you guys used to be so associated too. I wish for a happy ending that doesn't have me in it. But what's inside? What's down to every molecule? Bro, we could be living in the Lain world right now. Think about it. What isn't remembered never happened. It's another thought experiment, right? Tree in the woods, right? Yeah, change the truth. Just rewrite everyone's memory and the world will change. Oh. It's, it's present day and present time. Yep. Hey, hello, Lain. What you doing? So what's the implication there? Okay, we're starting an episode. What has been the start of every episode then? What are you going to say? Nothing, seemingly. Lamp? Oh, you're all alone. There's no colour. Me with all my mates. Seems like it's going well for you. Yeah, I did. It's exactly what happened. It was in the end, which is tragic. There's no negative feelings. No one hates you. No one even knows about you. You're not taking any of the good with the bad, you're taking nothing. You fixed everything, Lain. You just needed to not exist. I'm nowhere. Okay. Probably not. Where? Not really. I was gonna say something like heaven. I remember. Me either, really, but yeah, you're the same person. She was a program, but I thought she was real. That matters, I think. Yeah, there's a lot of that in it too. Well, these are like the opening shots. Don't point and laugh at me. What do you mean by everything? No, I'm breaking the cycle. That was the whole point. I need to go back in time to when I wasn't there. Whoa. This effect in the audio is fantastic, too. Okay, water dropped. Bit of water dropped. What's up? It's like you're glitching out. Bye. Whoa. Dunno. Where are you? Ah, the audio. Hey. Who are you? White? Oh, hello, Dad. Oh, and the onesie again. And the focus here is great, too. Sky Dad. But I like it. It's my drip. Love them all. That's a lot of tears. Okay. Ooh. Moogie reference? Oh, different color? Blue. Oh my god, the blue. And the yellow. Memories of the future? I don't know about that. That doesn't make much sense to me at all. Time is just a construct. Think about it. Who am I looking at? Are these memories of the future? Oh, it's the opening. Epic Lain opening reference. Is that Alice? Is that what we're getting at? I thought I heard it in the voice, but I'm really bad with that kind of stuff. At a different time, in a different place. In a different place, in a different time, yes. Okay, Lain. Yeah, thought so. I like the name, it's cute. I'm Lain. Yeah. Like rain, but with an L. She became a teacher as well. We will run into each other again, in a way, in a different place and time. Bye. Nice Alice got a happy ending. That's nice. That's all we really needed. Yeah. I'm in the opening. And time's kind of stood still. Is that it? Thank you, Lain. Bye-bye. Yet we persist onward? Thanks, Lain. Yeah, I think my prediction of Bittersweet came true there. I did like that Lain found some peace. I really like that scene in the sky with the dad. I'm not really sure what to make of it. I'm interpreting that as God. There's definitely a heavenly light coming down, and then there's a father-like figure in the sky there, and then just a comforting conversation. So Lane's solution there is that she's put irreversible stress and damage onto the person she cares about, Alice, right? And makes the decision of it would be better if I never existed. And that's a fucking huge tearjerker for me. It always has been. Slight spoilers for Clannad. There's a part in Clannad like that. And yeah, it's really emotional for me. Nah, you can't just delete yourself. But she kind of does and gets away with it. But there's the silver lining at the end that me being what I am, I can meet people a million times. I can see them. You know, there's advantages to my godlike status that I didn't look at in the past, right? And Lain is always with you. And yeah, finally onto a little bit of analysis of the final episode of Serial Experiments Lain. So yeah, that was the last episode, and I think I covered a lot of it in the ED about its bittersweet qualities that I really enjoy. Love a bittersweet ending. Definitely thought provoking. I like that a lot of the ancillary bullshit, like Seventh Protocol, Tachibana, all this kind of stuff, never had a concrete answer. I like that it's just shoved aside and we get like our happy ending. I really enjoy a happy ending for the characters that deserve it, of course. So well, we got Alice. Alice had definitely had a very happy ending there. Seemingly having forgotten about a lot of this in the future. Of course, you could leverage some amount of criticism here that is it's absolving a lot of characters in the show of their trauma, which flies in the face of a lot of what the show is about living with the good and the bad, taking both, right? Not simply discarding the things that make you hurt and taking them on board. But I guess the implication is that Lain is doing a lot of that for us. And then we get to the whole meta narrative about the show. There's a lot of Lain staring at me, right? Which makes me think that the world that I'm living in now is also the world that Lain had saved. You know what I mean? I'm living in this paradise right here, right now, because of Lain's sacrifices. Paradise. But you know what I mean, right? Uh, in that way, it is a lot like God. It is very religious in that way. But yeah, let's dive into it a little bit. I enjoy this ending a lot. I enjoy the show a lot. I think it's uh, definitely, if you take the time and think about it and go through all the steps, it'll reward you. And I think there's layers that I haven't even delved into that I'm sure somebody a lot smarter than me could pontificate upon and have different interpretations and that kind of thing. But the way I see it right now, it's just kind of a bittersweet, satisfying ending to the story that we were telling. Lain has achieved some kind of peace. A lot of characters in the show have achieved some kind of peace. The main bad guy, essentially, which was Masami slash God slash Tachibana slash the Knights, but the Knights are gone. That they get their plan thwarted. That's all well and good. And yeah, Lain has a clearer sense of self as a result as well. Yeah, good ending. I like this show a lot. I don't know what I would give it out of 10. I think it's too early to say, but it didn't. Maybe somewhere in the 8 range, similar to what I gave you Evangelion. Again, a lot of people be like, ooh, 8 out of 10, what a terrible score. I have like, I have like 4 tens and like 20-ish 9s. So it's like bordering like top-ish 8, you know? You know what I mean? It's a very good show. I think a lot of people don't use a 10-point scale the way you're supposed to anyway. But anyway, that's rambling. I should get on with the episode proper. So very quickly, the first thing you will notice about the episode is it doesn't start the same way a Lain episode normally does. We still get the opening, but we don't get the little part before the opening with the present day, present time, then smash cut to the static, where Lain is just chilling. And we don't get our little part after the opening with the green city and all that. That comes later in the show. So we get Lain simply pleading with what can only be interpreted as the audience, right? And struggling with a sense of self, right? So who am I? Where am I? What am I? Why am I? All these kind of questions, right? I said cogito ergo sum. I think therefore I am. She's trying to enforce a little bit of that, but failing in the process. Who is the real me? What is a me? Is me my own sense of self, or is me the outside perception of me? And there's a million different me's based on people's opinions. Because I interact with people every day at work and just doing anything really. They form some level of opinion of me, however small it may be, um, based on what I look like, based on what I do, based on if I talk with them, all these kind of things, right? Am I the me that I think I am, or am I the me that they all collectively perceive me as? I think that's a lot of what the show's getting at as well. So yeah, despite all that, the me that's me is the me talking right now, right? I can think, therefore I am, right? But if no one is around to perceive me, like the tree falling in the forest, would anybody know or care? You know what I mean? There's no one around to perceive it happening. Did it actually happen? A lot of little what would you call it, philosophical thoughts, I guess. And continuing on with that theme, the episode is called Ego. Again, I'm not down on my Freud, but I'm sure somebody could dive into that. I'm pretty sure if you did like a Freudian analysis of this show, there would be a lot to grab Definitely. The episode proper starts with a little bit of reuse of the animation from the last episode and kind of the continuation of the end of that scene. This is the bad end, essentially, right? This is the traumatize Alice ending. This is the scare Alice to death ending. So I don't really know what happened to Masami here. I guess he just like died or ceased to be because of the whole physical form debacle and the clearing of the room. The more important part here, and the more, I guess, metaphorical part, is that in Alice lashing out in her fear, she scratches Lain on the cheek, right? So Lain is concerned about the pain that she's caused Alice because of this, and Alice, as a result, has caused pain to Lain, physical pain. This is linking in with the heart beating stuff from the previous episode as well. This is the result of the heart beating. This is literally the good and the bad, right? This is the scar on the face, the blood seeping out. My heart is beating. I am alive, but because I am alive, I also hurt. And Lain just thinks, I mess up everything I try, huh? So why don't I take myself out of the equation? Lain tries to give Alice here a big hug, calm her down. Doesn't seem to work. There's still a lot of trembling in the mouth there, you know. And Lain just profusely apologizes for everything, basically, right? Screen fades to white, and we get this text on screen. All reset, return. We hit the reset button. And initially, my comment is the same as kind of my criticism at the start of this segment. The reset is flying in face of living with trauma, but I think Lain is taking the responsibility of all that trauma, the trauma that everybody that she has touched, right, and placing it on herself, and then get some kind of spiritual reward at the end of it all as well for her sacrifice. So the characters themselves, they don't need to live with said trauma and process this dark future that they've participated in, this kind of terrible society that we've been depicting throughout the entire show. Because of Lain and her sacrifice, we don't have to see that. I guess that's the interpretation, right? It's more of a focus on Lain and less of a universal a collective holding of our bad society, of living with our mistakes, right? And in that way, it is very religious. True. Okay. No, I kind of like it upon recollection. It's not as cheap as I thought it would be. I do like it. The sound design's great as well. You hear a really loud click just as this happens as well, symbolizing that Lain has clicked it herself. There's an echo on it, giving it importance as well. We see a lot of the show being reversed back here and cut to white. We see a lot of these same establishing shots. I'm guessing they're very similar to episode 1. The most important one is here, where we see the door swing open, and in the first episode I remember we saw Lain walk down the stairs. The door may swing open, there's a slight zoom, but there's no character walking out. So Mum, Dad, Mika, all sitting at the table, right? Having their breakfast, getting ready for the day. No plate set for any fourth character in the scene, one that may be sitting in this seat traditionally, that being a Lain. Lain has outlived herself. You know what I mean? She's taken herself out of everything. The world is going to progress as it would have normally without me existing, whatever me may be. The dad ponders for a second who may have at one point been sitting in this seat. I think this is our most clear indication that the dad later in the episode, the one that looks down at Lain, isn't actually this character. It is more likely than not a piece of symbolism, right? And again, my interpretation is a piece of symbolism for the actual god, whoever that may be. And yeah, the way we just play this out, no music, just no one even remembers who she is and what she was. Tragic. I said it in the moment. It bummed me out in the moment too. Really got to me. Because, like, it's so happy. And imagining a world where everybody is happy without you is just a depressing thought. Life would be better without me. That amount of self-loathing, you know? So we get a lot of famous shots where Lain would be walking to school, walking to get onto the train. We even see said train here, the shot that she would normally be watching the power lines, and is not present on the train to be watching said power lines. Then we get this song playing, and I think it's a wonderful choice. It really emphasizes how sunny and happy the situation is without Lain. It has a real epilogue, happy end feeling to it that I really enjoy. because this is basically a copy of one of the scenes from the first episode, right? These people walking into school, but instead of being buoyed with no music and a bunch of scary powerline ambience, and it's now happy. It's reinterpreted entirely because of said music, and yeah, it really feels like the end of a journey, and I really like that. Um, Great use of an insert song. Didn't expect it as well, which contributed a lot. Um, yeah, 2 thumbs up. Really enjoyed. So Alice is walking to school, gets jumped by, oh god, their names, Julie, and there's another one. Whatever, it matters not. She wants to go call her, whoever this her may be, and then the two look at each other and it's like, who are you talking about? Then they're like, oh, you mean her, right? The one you asked to come along another time. And yeah, it's Chisa, life of the party, Chisa. She went along with these two in the place of Lain, I'm guessing, right? Or maybe not. Maybe she went along some point in the past. It matters not. Chisa is alive. So that is the greatest indication to me that any interaction with Lain caused Chisa to do what she did, right? Just that walking home from school with Lain that one time, right? Is that the implication? Either way, she's alive. Happy end. The character that committed suicide in like the first scene is alive. That's good. It's the most clear point of this is a reset that you can get, because that is like the first thing we see. And then same as the father, she says nan demonai. It's nothing, right? Kind of ignoring this fleeting feeling that somebody may have existed at one point in one timeline that may have been very important. And also, even if you know this her exists, right, you can't quite grasp the name. You can't quite ever know. And this is the acceptance that, right, whoever this is didn't want me to know anyway. This is what she would have wanted. That's tragic. Fucking love it. And this is talking to a lot of the themes of the episode. If you aren't remembered, you never existed. Memory, interpretation, perspective, that is who makes people people. A lot of what I was talking about before. We see these three kids acting like normal kids. Awesome. So it's kind of Taro and his gang. And yeah, they're crossing the street. They're playing outside. The sun is shining. They're not in some dingy club at like 1 a.m. doing like weird tech shit. It's not a hellscape anymore. It's actually quite nice. Taro is the one that has some fleeting memories of Lain here. He sees a girl come up on his little handheld device, but then thinks nothing of it and keeps going on with his day. We get this guy kind of complimenting Taro on his machine, on his little device there. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the guy that shot himself in the mouth in Siberia, right? He isn't in a dingy club killing himself because of Lain. He is fine. He has a small child sister who is, he's just, it's so nice. It's just so nice. It's the perfect happy end that Lain doesn't get to have any part of. Like, even this guy, which we only really heard a few lines from in like one episode, it's great that he's still kicking it. The next one we see here is Masami having continued to live his life, has not died, has not gotten rid of his physical form. He's instead just a middle salary guy. He may hate his life, right? But he still has a physical form and body and is participating in life. Also, this can be seen as kind of a just desserts for what he was doing, right? The manipulation he was doing, right? He's now just, kind of like an adult. Life kind of sucks. What vibes? This is giving me vibes of like a stupid like DreamWorks movie. You know what I mean? Like, we see the villain in the good timeline having not turned into the villain, but still like kind of hates life. We've fixed everything. We've gone back and fixed everything. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's something to it. Masami pans his head up and looks at the kind of cherry picker here that's working on the power lines, which is kind of funny as well. And it's our two Dorcases from Tachibana, right? That were working for Tachibana. I don't know what the implication was. They were kind of like hitmen, kind of Secret Service. And yeah, Carl's working the wires now. He's just got a trade. That's pretty funny. I like that. And then yeah, our happy song starts to fade away. We start to zoom into the technology some more, and we're going to see what's actually happening. We get some text on screen here that's translated for us. What isn't remembered never happened. Memory is merely a record, or record. You just need to rewrite that record. Again, manipulation of the truth, changing of memory, the power that Lain always had. And then we re-enter the cycle that we've been in the whole time, the start of the episode, the way that the different scenes transpire and play out. Present day, present time. Jump to static. Lain having a look into the camera from said static. The shot of the green city. All these opening shots play out the exact same way. No dialogue over the top. We are now with Lain again, experiencing the same torturous loop that we have through the rest of the show. It's probably the most meta the show's got, and the most fourth wally as well. Like we've been taken on this trip with Lain. That's what it's giving me right now. And yeah, I think we describe this place here as nowhere. Lain is here hanging out with all her mates, with all the people that she can interact with now. Again, the stunned silence we get for a lot of it, the lack of dialogue, in contrast to the happy insert song from before, the kind of grays contrasting the colors of the mural that we saw in the previous scene, the happy sun, the dreary fog and cloud. The fog kind of reminds me of the house that Alice walked through in the previous episode as well. Just a land of nothing, you know? And she kind of balls up and cries here, as I would too. You have now made the ultimate sacrifice to ensure everybody else's happiness. I'll probably say it for like the third or fourth time here. My deepest interpretation of this is somewhat Jesus Christ-esque. She's literally taken on the ultimate sacrifice to ensure that there's no more hate or anything else in the world, you know what I mean? There's no more hate and hurting, it's just because you no longer exist. You have sacrificed all of your pleasure for the pleasure of others, and that is the... What else could you do? There's the ultimate love. I guess what this sequence with the Lanes talking to each other is just kind of talking about the themes of the show to the audience, right? About the sacrifice, how do you feel about said sacrifice? And then kind of a spiritual enlightenment at the end of it, a light at the end of the tunnel. Some kind of reward for her sacrifice as well in that final scene where she's kind of taken up into heaven. So this part kind of confused me as well. The Wide isn't an upper layer of the real world. It exists as an information transfer. It is always in motion as a result. Where is it taking people? Where is it taking things? We don't know. I implied heaven, but maybe that's incorrect. It kind of doesn't matter, you know? It wasn't... The Wired wasn't what we thought it was, you know? Which was this other layer of the world that was merely propaganda, essentially. So humans can't create something that can store that amount of memory either, memory being the collective history of the world. It cannot be contained as such. That's why the Wired wasn't what we thought it was. And I don't think we need to know what the other side is, you know what I mean? So the Wired is what it is. It's an information transfer. Where's it transferring? Where is it going? Where is everything going, essentially? I don't think humanity needs to know. Look how far they've come without knowing. That's a great line. That's a great line, right? I don't think we need to know all the answers of the universe. Just keep going. Effort. Effort is a theme there, I think. Humans pray to their various gods, and that is why they think the world is the way it is, right? Whatever these gods may be, whatever it may be. It doesn't literally need to be a god as well. There's a shot of a lady putting like a $50 bill into a cleavage as well. Like, it can be anything, whatever you think that may be. I guess it's an affirmation of human effort despite what we think the effort is for. And these two Lanes pontificating about that after their sacrifices essentially raised them into godhood, right? This Lain over on the podium over there thinks that Lain is God, and then Lain refutes that, but I think there's a lot of credence to what she's saying. But yeah, she thinks that she's something more complex than a god. As we played this is a very a notable opening scene of the first episode too. No one would hate Lain, no one would look down on Lain, but the other Lain doesn't like that. Hey Lain, let's start everything again, over from the beginning. Why not? Let's do our same loop again. Let's live that same life again. Let's go. Let's start back at episode 1. Why not? And yeah, breaking the cycle here, turning the other Lain. Stop it. And this Lain that was trying to convince the other Lain to do the same thing again, to probably get the same result, starts shaking violently, you know? Otherworldly-esque, and disappears. Lain instead is left in this kind of nothingness, this kind of Just a little bit of light surrounding Lain, bit of water at the bottom. Kind of reminds me of a bedroom, as well as that wider shot of the wide we got before that was kind of like in space, kind of the same kind of dome shape of the light. Uh, Either way, this is where Lain exists now. She's cut off even that part of herself now. I love the big drip sound as she falls. Then what are you now, Lain? What are you? If you're not a god, if you're not something that isn't a god, if you're not just going to do the same thing again, what have you got? Then we hear a voice very, very much in the front of the mix, very clear. Come, Lain. We see this heavenly light in the sky, and look who's at the top. It's Dad. Hello, Dad. I don't think this is actually Dad. I think this is a metaphorical Dad. Maybe the actual God. That's what I'm guessing anyway. The music here is so nice too. Love it. And the kind of lack of focus on the characters too. Great techniques. The onesie, you don't need that onesie anymore. You don't need that side of yourself anymore. You're in the sky. You're in that table in the sky talking with the big fella. Your self-sacrifice has finally been rewarded in what can be interpreted as somewhat of an afterlife, as somewhat of a heaven. This is a fantastic track. I'm listening to it again now. It is beautiful. It's beautiful. And then this look on Lain's face as well. This one here, kind of this like satisfaction. She made it. She made it. You love all of them, don't you, Lain? She starts crying a inhuman amount of tears, and then just simply, I'll make her some tea next time. We see these opening shots, but they're slightly discolored now, and we get a little bit of a monologue from Lain. Memories aren't just of the past. Memories can be of right now or even tomorrow. If we think about memory as history, memory as truth, memory as interpretation, then we see this final scene that is seemingly in the future. This is what Lain gets to see as a result. She is now reaping the rewards of being omnipresent as well. So I kind of got it from the voice immediately, but I didn't want to get it wrong. So I didn't say that it was Alice. I said, is this Alice? But yeah, it's Alice. This is future Alice. This is her happy ending. Seemingly have found some amount of love. They're trying to find the right color for the curtains of their house. She's seemingly, mid late 20s, like serious relationship, buying first house, all this kind of stuff, right? And yeah, she made it. She's having a happy life. She's also become a teacher, which is funny considering the context that she had with a previous teacher at her schooling in another life. So that's fun. And yeah, she sees a small child up on the overpass, kind of up there. Hello, small child. This is like the opening, kinda, as well. And I love scenes like this. This is despite everything, there's still something there, you know? I don't quite know how to describe it. It's just a perfect, bittersweet little scene. We're letting my one and only friend go off and, have a good life. She has some amount of awareness, kind of internally, maybe, about the sacrifice that was made to let her be this way. But Lain just watches on happy. I like it. It's nice when good characters have good things happen to them, and I think that's a lot of the appeal here. I really do. This just releases happy feeling in my heart head, you know. Yeah. What else has a good epilogue? Something like a Fullmetal Alchemist, right? Just that kind of final episode where we see everything go good for the characters. Spoilers for Fullmetal Alchemist. It doesn't end in disaster. Just this is what a good epilogue should do. Just leaves you with that warm fuzzy. In the back of your mind, it still is kind of existentially terrifying, but it made me feel warm and fuzzy at least. You know what also reminds me of? Your Name. There's a scene at the end of Your Name where the characters can't seem to remember a lot of what happened way back during the events of said film, and when they finally do remember, when there's finally that connection again, it's satisfying as well. I think we're playing with similar ideas here too. I like that. Alice can't quite put her finger on what Lain is, who Lain is, why Lain is, and why she may know Lain, but that doesn't matter. They go on with their lives as a result. Lain also doesn't break the facade. She merely just says, "Hey, I'm Lain. How do you do?" We get one final look at Lain, and then bye. Bye-bye. Lain returns to Set Overpass. Time seems to stop. Seemingly a more direct reference to the opening too, that gives that opening a lot of extra gravity, which I like. And yeah, this is the benefits of my sacrifice, right? This is the benefits of my ability, myself, right? I can see anybody I want at any time. It may seem lonely right now, but there are benefits here. That's the way you could read it in the exact opposite direction too, as this being bittersweet as hell. But I think it's strangely positive. I really do. And then Lain looking directly at the audience again. Don't forget about me, basically. I'm here. I'll be with you forever. Kind of again implying the kind of fourth wall nature of the show. The world that I'm living in now may be the world of Lain's sacrifice as well. And a final shot of these same power lines looming over us as we fade to black. And yeah, that's the end of Lain, baby. That's the end of the show. I don't know what that very last shot was kind of implying. Again, always over us, kind of always looking over us, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's time to talk about the show in totality, I guess, at least for a little bit. So I've kind of gotten into some preliminary thoughts about overall ranking and that kind of thing. But let's talk about it some more. So it's a very cerebral show. It's very up to interpretation. I've made my interpretation very clear. It's somewhat positive. There are bad things that happen in the world, but because of the sacrifices of others, we can persist happily. There's something of that in it. But there's also something deeply existential and terrifying about what Lain did as well. Again, bittersweet as a feeling. That's more towards the ending. Overall, the show, I like the mystery of the show. I like following certain things. I like thinking certain things at certain points that then get flipped on their head. I like the journey there of discovery that the show allows you to go on. Aesthetically, the show is killer, especially for the time when it came out. This would have been mind blowing. There's some pieces of animation that are movie quality that I would say. There's some elements of fidelity that aren't great as well, but I think they're used in a way that makes the show, it elevates the piece of media, which is the best you can do for cheaper stuff. The music throughout is something that has grown from the first episode to the last. It is something where I would now call this one of the better soundtracks that I've heard. Excellent. Deeply excellent. There's some killer moments that are buoyed by the soundtrack as well. If we're going to go into the moments in a little bit more detail, some of my favorite moments of the show were Lain walking back alone after kind of that school scene where everybody's just kind of looking at her. That's the final shattering of reality of what used to be normal for Lain. Nobody notices her. Everybody notices her. There's two separate scenes there, I believe. One where she's deeply paranoid and one where she's simply walking away. I love the scene in Siberia, the end of episode 2. That's that kind of shit gets real scene. That's that kind of shit isn't the way we think it is scene. I love how trippy episodes like episode 9 are. I like how scattershot episodes like the one about Phantom was. Just kind of themes everywhere, just chucking like spaghetti at the wall. I really like that. I think they did a good job of making the show in general be off kilter and kind of weird. There's some genuinely strange voice performances in it. Just words don't flow the way they should. There's something deeply wrong about this world, deeply not the way we thought it was. I like how a lot of the mysteries are thrown out right at the end. We just kind of reset, and that's fine. Like the stuff about the parents and I think there was more to dig there. The stuff about Masami and Seventh Protocol and Tachibana and all that stuff. I like how we just throw that out. That we still really never got a concrete answer to why it is, to why it is the way it is. How long has it existed? All these questions, right? Again, up to interpretation, and I enjoy it for that. I like that some person could watch this show and have a deeply different series of events that I do. I think that's very cool. I wouldn't call it entirely art house, of course. There are art house segments, that are merely stream of consciousness and not really concrete, but there's still enough to grasp onto that I think the emotional climax works very well. And yeah, all that done in 13 episodes as well. I didn't need to, be with it that long for it to leave that much of an impact. I think that's significant as well. It is depressing, but I found a light at the end of the tunnel anyway, and that's left me deeply satisfied with my experience. Yeah, 2 thumbs up, strongly recommended. One of my favorites that I've seen in a while. If I was comparing it to other things I've seen on the channel so far, having not seen Monogatari, all of Monogatari, I will say, it's hard to rank it, but Lain definitely ranks high. But as did this and Tatami Galaxy. Tatami Galaxy is an incredible show, by the way. You should watch Tatami Galaxy if you haven't. It's right up there with that for sure. I gave Tatami Galaxy a 9. I'd probably give this a very high 8, something like that. I think. Yeah, just I wouldn't watch this like casually. Is my point, but Yeah, just two thumbs up. Really, really great show, and thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you for the recommendation. And yeah, we're on to our next show now. There will be a poll shortly. It'll be advertised on the channel as well as in the Discord, so get in the Discord if you want to get in on that action immediately and that kind of bag. Um, I don't know what I'm going to put on it. I floated in the past that maybe it would be some shows that are maybe a little happier. I'll see what I pick. I still have some obligation to pick the shows that did well last time that had a lot of support. So we may do that as well. Either way, just thank you. Thank you for being on the journey with me and that kind of thing. And I hope to see you for the next show, whatever it may be. Again, even if you haven't seen the show before, maybe try to watch it and then watch it again with me. I would love that if you enjoy these kinds of videos. These recommendations are as much for everybody else as they are for me. Anything that's on a poll and has been requested is something that somebody else in this community has enjoyed, and I think that's powerful too. You know, if you're enjoying this, maybe you'll like this. You know, it's all about spreading that knowledge and about something we're passionate about. I think that's cool. And yeah, that's why I'll leave off today. Just make sure stuff quickly. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I can do to improve my presentation, comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you would like me to follow you back. And the Discord, join Discord, vote in polls on Discord, suggest new shows on Discord, talk about Lain on Discord, all sorts of stuff. Thank you very, very much for watching this series with me, and I'll catch you next time whenever that may be. Radio. I'll catch you guys later.